What if I told you that Ferrari could have in his hands the key to relive the Lewis Hamilton season in Formula One? A completely new rear suspension and a total redesign of the SF25 floor will arrive in Canada, but will it be enough to stop the technical chaos that Maranello lives? For Hamilton, frustration has been evident. It is not common to listen to a pilot from his caliber to declare openly, after a race, who has no explanation for his low performance. But that was exactly what happened in Barcelona, when he confessed to feel completely lost. It was a terrible day, I have no idea why. Not a single track. Worse, his radio message during the race was even harder. Something is wrong with this car, it is the worst that has ever been. These words are a portrait of a pilot who, despite his experience and skill, fails to connect with the car that was supposed to be his vehicle towards a new era of success. This divorce between pilot and machine has been closely followed by paddock figures. Karun Chandok, former pilot and technical analyst, was clear. We are entering the second third of the season and he is not finding the rhythm. He is not in a happy place with the car. A statement that summarizes what many already perceive as a fundamental dissonance between the conduction style of precise Hamilton, aggressive, dependent on the total confidence in the response of the car, and the capricious nature of the SF25. This lack of tune has also had visible effects on direct comparison with his partner, Charles Leclerc. Although Hamilton has tried to adapt some aspects of its piloting, even imitating techniques such as releasing the accelerator to gain minimum curve speed, a typical Leclerc-style feature, the results have not been consistent. In classification, the differences are minimal, but in the race, any small technical imbalance is magnified, especially when the conditions vary or the car must roll in traffic. Maranello's environment has not helped to calm the situation either. Media pressure, excessive expectations, and lack of tangible results are creating an emergency atmosphere. Ferrari knows that he cannot afford to lose Hamilton's trust, much less wear out a relationship that is just beginning. Each race without progress, every weekend full of doubts, adds more weight to a situation than, without a clear solution, threatens to become irreversible. The Ferrari-Hamilton union was born to conquer, but at the moment, it seems caught in a struggle to simply survive its own promise. In the heart of Maranello, where decisions are usually made with caution and respect for tradition, something extraordinary has happened. Ferrari's technical direction has decided to break its conventional planning to bet on urgent, almost desperate intervention, in order to save its star project, Lewis Hamilton's signing. The magnitude of the problem facing the SF25 has led the team to completely restructure its development schedule, postponing evolutions initially planned for the second semester of the season and instead, prioritizing two crucial improvements: a completely new rear suspension and an integral redesign of the car's floor. These updates are not simple touch-ups. They represent a paradigm shift in the architecture of the car. The new suspension system seeks to correct one of the deepest technical roots of the SF25, its structural instability and its unpredictability when managing weight transfers, especially in medium and high-speed curves. Engineers have worked intensely in dynamic test bench, simulating extreme conditions to verify the resistance, flexibility, and efficiency of the new system. This solution not only intends to improve traction at the exit of slow curves, but also to offer pilots a more consistent platform that allows you to configure the car without sacrificing aerodynamics. The redesign of the flat background, on the other hand, directs directly to mitigate the porpoising, one of the chronic ills that has tormented Ferrari since the introduction of the soil regulations effect in 2022, and to recover part of the lost downforce when it is forced to raise the height of the car to protect the plank. With a new design of aerodynamic channels, strategic cuts, and a redistribution of airflow to the diffuser, the team hopes to restore the general efficiency of the SF25 without compromising the legality of the background under dynamic pressure. This work, which has already passed to the validation stage in the wind tunnel, was developed in record time, shortening traditional stages of the process to reach the Canada Grand Prix on time. It is a play that demonstrates not only boldness, but also the recognition of an awkward truth. The car as conceived is not fulfilling expectations, and maintaining the original plan would be to continue along a path that does not lead anywhere. This adaptation, forced but necessary, also represents a gesture to Hamilton. Ferrari is telling the British that he has not left him alone, that the team is willing to react with decision and assume risks to deliver the tools he needs. It is a bet that goes beyond engineering. It is a reaffirmation of sports and psychological commitment between pilot and team. And although the risks are high because if these improvements do not work as expected, they could generate new problems in other areas of the car, the potential benefit justifies everything. A more stable SF25 would allow Hamilton to exploit its strong point, the rhythm in the race. Until now, it has been a content pilot forced to take care of tires, to manage the car excessively, and to run in defensive mode. With a more competitive and predictable platform, Hamilton could meet with that aggressive, brain and meticulous style that has defined it since his days in McLaren. From the perspective of the championship, Ferrari also knows that he needs an immediate reaction. McLaren's growing domain and the recovered rhythm of Red Bull with Verstappen threatened to leave the Italian team out of the fight for both titles before the summer break. Canada, with its combination of fast chicanas and strong braking areas, is the ideal place to evaluate the effectiveness of these updates. The Canada Grand Prix has always been a turning point in many seasons of Formula One. A technical circuit, demanding but also unpredictable. The semi-permanent route of Gilles-Villeneuve offers a unique test of technical efficiency, braking performance and traction capacity, all points where the SF25 has shown worrying weaknesses so far in 2025. It is, therefore, a perfect scenario to evaluate the effectiveness of the new technical package that Ferrari is about to introduce. But it is not only mechanical performance. This race represents in many ways the last opportunity for emotional and competitive rescue for Lewis Hamilton in this first stage with Ferrari. Canada tests what engineers call the reactive calibration of chassis. The car must be able to absorb aggressive curbs, stabilize in curves such as the Casino Fork and stay predictable in high-speed sections such as the Champions Wall line. It is precisely where the new suspension and redesigned solutions of the fund can make a difference. If Ferrari manages to maintain the filming height within the optimal range without causing excessive plank wear, they will not only avoid regulatory penalties, but can finally exploit the real performance of the car in race conditions. For Hamilton, Canada is more than a circuit. It is one of the most emblematic places of his career, the scenario of his first victory in Formula One in 2007, and a layout that has always highlighted his talent to find the limit in mixed conditions. Going back here with a transformed Ferrari has a difficult symbolism to ignore. It is not about nostalgia, but about the tangible possibility of redemption. Good classification sessions or decent sprints are not enough. What the British pilot needs and what the team needs it is a round weekend. Solid, without strategic errors, without mechanical failures, without frustrations on the radio. A weekend in which I may finally feel that he is in control. Beyond the technical aspect, this career also represents a key moment from the mood. Ferrari has lived at constant pressure since the start of the season. The comparisons with McLaren, the errors of Leclerc, the public frustrations of Hamilton, and the perception of a disoriented team have worn the image of a team that, until recently, seemed ready to dominate again. Canada can be the bomb or the trigger. If the improvements work, internal trust will be reactivated and valuable land will be recovered in the championships. But if the SF25 continues to show the same usual vices, it will be inevitable that an uncomfortable debate be opened inside and outside the team. In addition, from the perspective of the championship, Ferrari urgently needs to add points. McLaren and Mercedes have taken the front in the fighting of builders, and Red Bull, although with internal problems and an unstable alignment, continues to obtain results consistent with Verstappen. For Ferrari to be a contender again, he needs not only a competitive car, but also solid results, and that inevitably passes through a motivated Hamilton with confidence and backed by a machine that responds to his hands. Therefore, the Canada Grand Prix is not just another race in the calendar. It is a verdict. The verdict of whether Ferrari's new technical course can work, whether Hamilton can lead a red rebirth, and whether this historical alliance between pilot and team is intended for success, or to remain as a failed promise. Everything that has been done so far, the development sacrifices, the hours in the wind tunnel, the risky decisions in Maranello, is oriented towards a single question. Can Canada change everything? The answer is about to be revealed in each Montreal curve. Formula One's 2025 season is at a turning point. The first chapters have already shown us the fragility of the most ambitious plans and the speed with which even the strongest structures can collapse. Lewis Hamilton, the man who has marked an era with his domain in Mercedes, faces perhaps one of the most complex challenges of his career. Not only adapt to a new team, but to lead his resurgence from a position of clear technical disadvantage. And Ferrari, the most venerated team in the history of the category, lives between the promise of a brilliant future and the weight of its own structural limitations. With the introduction of the technical improvements in the SF25 and the hope deposited in the Canada Grand Prix as a starting point for a new narrative, the attention is intensified. Because what is at stake here is not simply the result of a race. It is the validation or refutation of a strategy that has involved a deep reorganization within Maranello, an extraordinary effort in terms of engineering and an emotional and professional commitment by Hamilton, which could have chosen a safer route for the end of his career, but opted for a path full of uncertainty and challenges. Can Ferrari offer Hamilton a car capable of competing for consistent victories? Or are we seeing the last bars of a glorious career trying not to fade in the midst of mechanical frustrations and unfulfilled promises? What happened in Canada will not only reveal whether technical improvements work, it will also show if the team has the necessary temper to react under pressure, correct the course, and demonstrate that it still knows how to build a winning project. Now it's your turn. Do you think Ferrari will reverse his situation and return Hamilton to the place that corresponds to him on the grill? Or do you consider that this alliance was, from the beginning, a more emotional commitment? Leave me your opinion in the comments.